Alright, so kule video le ngifuna concentrate lapha kule lesson ye distance in functions and specifically question le lapha ku 6.3. Okay, so alright, asifuna statement. City statement lana, given that you are given that g of x is equals to 4x squared minus 6, right? And according to definition of function, this is a quadratic equation. I mean, this is a quadratic function, right? So ilo g of x lola le parabola le, and then you're also given that f of x is equal to 2 multiplied by root x. So ilo inverse function le, which is function f of x. Okay, so the graph of g and f are sketched below. Okay, so there's a sketch below la ungarefera kiso, but s is an x intercept. Yala, so lana bakudefinela ama-points ukuthi ama-points ayini kahle, right? So in this case o origin yethu and s njengoba bakutshela about the x intercept, and now calculate the x intercept, y equals to 0. Okay, and k is a point between o and s. Okay, so k is a point between o, now o la, and then now s la. So this is k, ulapa and now. Okay, and then the straight line qkt, qkt kusuka lapha ku q k size la ku t, right? But the straight line qkt with q on the graph of f, q siyawubona lapho ku f of x vele la, and t on g of x, siyawubona t ula phansi ula kulo g of x, right? And bakutshela bathi le line lelo li parallel to what? To the y-axis. So lapha kule lesson la discussa khona i-video le, I mean i-lesson ye distance ithe if bafuna ukukutshela ukuthi le line le li vertical, angeke baze bakutshele directly ukuthi le line le li vertical, but instead bazothi le line le li parallel nale y-axis, because bayazi ukuthi y-axis obviously it is a vertical distance. So anything that is parallel to this vertical distance now create vertical. So we can conclude that qkt is vertical, right? Okay, and then 6.3.1, write down the length of qkt in terms of x. So qkt ukusuka lapha ku q k and then sigcine la ku t. So this is a vertical distance, and sithe ku vertical distance siminus abo y, and y wangaphezulu, which means kuzoba yilo y waka q, right, minus y wangaphansi y walapha ka t. All right, and lana bathi we determine in terms of x, where x is the x coordinate of k. So lana bathi x coordinate yaka k x, right? And ku vertical distance wonke lama points lawa azoba no x ofanayo, kusho la ku t nakhona kuzoba x, nala q kuzoba x, right? Okay, so determine the distance. Ukhumbule ukuthi at the end of the day so let's calculate maximum distance or minimum distance, which is 6.3.2, right? And according to lama steps esiwadiscussile lapha sithe step number 1, you identify the coordinates. Kahle kahle kumele uthole lama coordinates, and then step number 2 usebenzisa le distance formula depending ngalokuthi le distance inja, in this case the vertical distance is minus abo y. And then step number 3, now ufuna maximum distance uzoderive, and now uqeda ukuderive equated to 0 usolve for x, right? And lo x wakho step number 4 ubuye bese ufaka kuphi kule distance formula again le in terms of x, then you get your maximum distance. Okay, so asifollowishe lama steps lawa, wonke lama steps lawa azosinikeza ama-answer ka-6.3.1 na-6.3.2. Okay, so asidetermine le length le qkt, it's actually qt kusuka le ku-q sesifike la phansi. So step number 1 asithole lama coordinates kahle kahle. So kulama coordinates already sesidiscussile ukuthi uq u-x wakhona u-x nala u-x wakhona u-x, right? And u-y wethu la kuzoba u-f of x la ku-q because le point leli liku-f of x la, right? So u-y wethu instead of ukuthi sibhale u-y sizobhala u-f of x la, okay? And then la ku-t u-y wethu kuzoba u-g of x because u-t uku-g of x, right? So instead of sibhale u-y sizobhala u-g of x. Okay, fine. Asiwafanalize lama points wethu. U-q wethu kuzoba u-x, u-f of x lapha basitshelile ukuthi ungubani mos. F of x ungu 2 root x, right? F of x ungu 2 root x. And then u-g of x wethu lapha phezulu basitshele bathi 4x squared minus 6. So 4x squared minus 6, right? So sesiqedile ke step number 1. Sesiwatholile ke ama-coordinates wethu, which is q and t. So siwathole in terms of x. And then step number 2, let's determine the distance, right? And the distance is over in terms of x. So it's answer 6.3.1. So asithole distance yethu ke la ku step number 2. Distance yethu sithi minus abo y, right? Distance qt is minus abo y because it's a vertical distance. And as minus abo y sithi le ngaphezulu y walapha ku q minus lo la ngaphansi. So y wa q kahle kahle kuzoba f of x, and then y wa t kuzoba g of x. So kahle kahle qt or qkt, right? Kuzoba f of x wethu 2 root x, right? Minus g of x, which of x wethu 4x squared minus 6, right? So qkt or qt is equals to 2 root x minus 4x squared plus 6, right? So qkt or qt is equals to minus 4x squared plus 2 root x plus 6. So now distance yakho la, which is your qkt or qt, right? So the answer le isinikeza isolution yala ku 6.3.1. Write down the length of qkt in terms of x, where x is the x coordinate of k. So now qkt wethu or qt is equals to negative 4x squared plus 2 root x plus 6, right? So it's in terms of x. And according to our steps wethu, it's step number 2. Okay, so sesiqedile step number 1 sithole ama coordinates, sesithole distance in terms of x. So manje kuzomele sithole i maximum distance, and which is step number 3, sithole maximum distance ngokuthi siderive le distance equation, right? This is near the answer yaka 6.3.2. As derive le distance, nasi derive le distance, derive distance qkt or qt in terms of bani, in terms of x, bese si equator to 0. So nasi derive la izothi negative 8x to the power 1, because izothi 2 times negative 4 kuphuma negative 8, bese minus 1 lapho, 2 minus 1 kusala lo 1, right? And then plus ukhumbule ukuthi le singayishintsha siyibhale as x to the power 1 over 2. Okay, so izothi half lapha phezulu multiply by 2 kuyophuma u1, right? And minus u1 lapha phezulu kuzophuma u-negative 1 over 2, right? So izothini? Izothi x to the power negative 1 over 2, right? And let's differentiate a constant kuyophuma u0 lapha. So now i-differential yethu la sesiyi-derivile, and nasiqeda ukuderive si-equator into 0. So izothi minus 8x plus lena singayiletha la ngaphansi izothi positive, and then lento lesi equator to 0, right? And also the x to the power 1 over 2 singawubisela back abu square root, izothi x negative 8x plus 1 over root x equals to 0. So sesifuna ukusolve for x manje, so singathatha lo negative 8x imixe ngale izothi positive 8x, and ngapha over 1 singa cross multiplier. Nas cross multiplier lana izothi 1 times 1 kuyophuma 1, and then le 8x times lo root x, right? So izothi 8x multiplied by root x equals to 1, okay? And lana, this is the same as 1 over 2, right? So sengidlala ngale square root kahle kahle sengisibisela back, and then izothi 8 multiplied by x, and lana kuno 1, right? And as multiply ama base afanayo, so add lama exponents, right? So 1 plus 1 over 2 kuyophuma u3 over 2 equals to 1, okay? And let's divide both sides by 8, right? And then lapha kuyoba 3 over 2, and then 1 over 2 to the power 3, and then x 3 over 2 is equal to 2. Nasiletha ngaphezulu izoba minus, right? Bese simultiply ngo2 over 3, simultiply nge-inverse yangale 2 over 3, and then ngapha kuyophuma x is equals to negative 2, okay? And lento le is the same as 1 over 2 to the power 2 is a positive nayiza ngaphansi, and this is 1 over 4. So x wethu kahle kahle is 1 over 4. Nasiqeda lapho sibisela lo 1 over 4 back to the distance equation la ku step number 4, okay? So la kule distance equation qkt sizofaka lo 1 over 4 sibuthola lapha phansi. So it means our distance, or the maximum distance qkt is equal to negative 4, lana sizofaka 1 over 4 plus 1 khona x of 1 over 4, right? Square root of 1 over 4, and then plus 6, and then qkt is equal to 6.75 units. So the answer there, like 6.3.2, calculate the maximum length of qt. So sesiyitholile ke.